Hello everyone, I'm Robert. Welcome back to our Data Management 1 module. In this video, we will be talking about the select function from the dplyr package. The select function allows us to select the columns or variables that we need. We will start by loading in our packages, clear the global environment, and loading in our Houston flights dataset. If you still need instructions on these steps, please refer to the link in the description. Okay, so let's get started with the select function. We want to know the syntax of the select function. One way to do so is to use the help window. We can type a question mark followed by the name of the function, select in this case. When we run this command, we can see in the lower right-hand corner, we have more detailed information about the select function, including the description, usage, arguments, and at the end, we even can see some examples of how to use this function. I recommend reading all of these documentations when you get started with a new function. But for today, we are especially interested in the usage and argument part of this function, because these two parts tell us what we should pass into the select function. As we can see here, the basic syntax of the select function is pretty simple. We first pass in the name of the data frame, and then we pass in the variable names that we want to keep, separated by commas. Let me now show you some examples using the select function. In the first example, we want to keep the two columns, departure time and arrival time. So we'll first pass the dataset name, DAT in this case, and then the variable names, DEP time and ARR time. When we run this, we get our DAT2, and let's take a look at it. We can see that all the other columns are deleted. We only keep these two columns, departure time and arrival time. We can rename the columns at the same time while selecting them. So the only difference here is, instead of just passing in the variable names, we're passing an equation. So if we want to rename departure time to departure, we'll pass departure equals DEP time. So new variable name equals old variable name. Similarly, if we want to rename arrival time to arrival, we'll pass arrival equals ARR time. When we run this, we get DAT3. And as we can see, this is nearly the same as DAT2. The only difference is the column names are different. The select function is also commonly used to reorder the columns. Suppose we want to put departure time and arrival time to the front of the dataset. One way to do so is to use the select function, and we put departure time, arrival time, and then we type out all the other variable names. However, when we have a lot of variables in our dataset, this approach would be pretty tedious. So instead, we can use the everything function. When we use the everything function, we'll just write in the select function, we'll just write departure time, arrival time, and everything. Notice here we can rename the variables at the same time. When we run this, we get DAT4, and let's take a look. We can see that departure time and arrival time are put to the front of the dataset, and they have been renamed, and all the other columns remain the same in the dataset. The select function also allows us to select a range of variables. Suppose we want to get all variables from month to distance. One way to do so is to type out all the variable names. However, if we want to select a lot of variables, this will be time consuming. So instead, we can use the colon operator. we can simply pass month colon distance into the select function. And in this way, R will keep everything from month to distance. When we run this, we get D85, and we can see that we keep all the columns from month to distance. At the end, I want to emphasize that the select function can not only be used to select columns, we can also use it to deselect columns. Suppose in this case, we want to drop everything from month to distance. The syntax will be pretty similar. We'll put the same expression, but we will add an exclamation mark before this expression, month colon distance. And we'll pass this whole thing into the select function. When we run this, we can see that we have kept all the columns aside from those from month to distance. Alternatively, we can use the minus sign. If we use the minus sign, we'll use the same expression, month colon distance. But in this case, we'll need to put this expression into a parenthesis, and we'll put the minus sign before the parenthesis. When we run this, we can see our D87 is the same as our D86. In both cases, we keep all the variables aside from those ranging from month to distance. This is everything from the select function, and I will see you guys next time.